And we are live again. Good news. Oh, that timing though. That was epic. Alright, let me see here. Welcome back, guys. What a timing, huh? That was epic. Epic timing. Oh. Yeah, Hugo, I actually took a screenshot and I think I'm gonna I might just share it in the story right now. Let me do that. Let's see. Boom. I'm gonna share it with the app feed. Well, not on the app feed, but in the stories. I'll be with you guys in just a minute. I'm just posting this. Boom. Boom, 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 boom. There we go. Then I will Come on, buddy. Come on, you can do it. Save photo and oops. There we go. All right, back to the chat. Yes, so I'm back. Right. So actually, I think I'll show you guys. I'll come closer to the shed there. There we go. Fall down. There we go. Like this. Boom. And all right. That's a nice view. With a little cinnamon bun. There we are. All right. So, welcome back to the live stream. As usual, it stopped after 40-50 minutes. Well done on the timing, guys. So yeah, it's a beautiful night tonight. Stars are crisp. You can see the Milky Way. We have some beautiful aurora. And the clouds actually are staying at bay. We're supposed to have completely overcast tonight, but you know, that's Norway for you. We never know what we're actually gonna get. Alright, so let me just Alright, so now that we have actually a little bit more time and a little bit less craziness with the aurora, a little bit less rush with the aurora, I'm happy to answer all of your questions that you may have concerning Substorms, concerning our app, you know, concerning the aurora generally speaking. So shoot. Also, if you want to receive the notifications that I'm live on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe and hit the subscribe button, and make sure that you set on the notifications for live. Oh, Jeff, you didn't have to. I was gonna say, yeah, that's Swedish crowns. I'm like, Sek, what is this? Wait a minute, I know this. Yes, Swedish crown. Thank you so much, Jeff. I really appreciate it. You guys are so generous tonight. Really, it's really touching me. You really don't have to, but I mean, of course I can only accept it. But it's, wow, it really is overwhelming. Thank you so much. Yeah, I know Flyfish. I know. I remember you all the time. There are some names that I remember like this, and I do apologize if sometimes I do not recognize your name, your normal name from other platforms, or sometimes you have a moniker or an avatar or a username that I don't recognize on YouTube specifically. And sometimes, like Jeff, for example, I recognize you because I know that you're from Norland. I mean, not from Norland, but you live there, and yeah, so I know who you are, and I know a few of you. But sometimes I do not recognize you guys, and I'm so sorry. I'm trying to do my best to remember everyone. But imagine if I have to remember, I have 1.2 million followers on Facebook and 100 and something on Instagram. I have no chance, right, remembering everyone. I'm already bad with names in real life, and I'm so sorry. But yeah. You're gonna have to stick with me and my my awkwardness if you're ready for it. All right. Let's see the chat for a minute. Let's see. Oops. Yep, so the aurora now is starting a growth phase again. I'm gonna show you the whole sky, but yeah, it's beginning to do a growth phase again. And oh wow, shooting star. Did you catch it? Let's see with the delay. Yes! The cool thing is I have a delay, you know, on the phone and everything. I can rewatch the shooting star on the phone as it happens. So it's perfect. Oh, we're having some kind of we're having some kind of beautiful corona. Let me show you guys. Above. Oh wow. Wow. Let me show you. Right above. Sorry about this. Beautiful corona, look at this. Wow, let me just record for a minute, because you never know. I don't think that's gonna explode, but wow, it's producing some red again. It's absolutely stunning. Wow. Yeah, Hugo, yeah, definitely. Direction I'm looking at right now is overhead. Hi Marina, how's it going? Ouais, je sais, il y a vraiment beaucoup d'étoiles filantes. Ça, j'avais vu. No, this red I don't see with the naked eye. This one is a bit too faint. But the one that was that happened during the expansion before, I definitely saw it with the naked eye. Yes. So it depends. It depends on how intense the reds are. Sometimes they're not that intense like this one, and sometimes they are. Just depends. Alright, let me show you why I'm saying that we're in the growth phase of a substorm again. Because, look at this. Now, I don't know if you remember, but the start of the other live stream, right now I'm shooting towards the southeast, and let me come in front of the camera here. So, if you were here during the start of the first live stream, you could see the aurora, the band of aurora, was actually like the one that you see across the middle sky right now, like the one in the middle right there. So you see now what this first Substorm expansion has done is that it has actually allowed the oval to really push further equatorward, towards the equator, towards the south in the northern hemisphere. And you can see now this band of aurora further south is now in a growth mode. And you can see why, because you have, so this band that is the furthest equatorward is the one that is going to explode again at some point tonight. So we don't know when, but we just have to wait. We just have to be patient. But the equatorward edge of the oval is always the one to look for and to look out for when you're chasing the aurora, because that's always where these big auroral explosions, we call them substorm expansions, come from. Okay? So when you have multiple east to west arcs like this, then always pay attention to the one that is the furthest away from you, away from the geomagnetic pole. And for us in the northern hemisphere, that's the south, right? It might be the least impressive, but it's always one to keep an eye on, because it might be the least impressive now, but let me tell you, when it's the substorm expansion, when it's the explosion, that's where things are happening from. And during the substorm expansion, then this arc here is going to break up, and from an east-west kind of configuration, it will really expand out in the sky and produce the beautiful dancing lights that we just saw in the previous live stream. Oh, looks like the aurora is getting better on the other side of the shed. Look at these colors, pretty nice, huh? Look at that. Wow. Pretty neat pillars. Oh, we just got an X2 class flare? Awesome! Oh wow, that's awesome. I haven't actually taken a look because obviously yeah, I'm live, but usually my social media goes off when there's a solar flare. But let me just take a look at the solar flare on our app actually. So I'm going to search app, and I'm going to search for AIA, and I'm going to take the 171 to start with. Boom. I'm not sure how live it is, if it's live enough or not. So let me take a look. If not, I'm gonna go on the NOAA website. Oh wow, these pillars are actually really nice. No, it's not visible yet on our app. That's because it comes from the website itself, the SDO website. Let me just take NOAA. There we go. And I'm gonna go to home. Let's see. Oh, that was bright. Jesus. How about home? Oh yeah, R3 radiation storm. Oh my goodness. Woo-hoo-hoo. And where was the flare? It was that region. Yes. So again on the east limb, but a little bit more. Ooh, looks like a nice coronal wave. Maybe. Yeah. We'll take a look at the dimming, possibility of dimming as well, and so possibility of coronal mass ejection. But we need to wait. Well spotted, guys. Well spotted. Awesome. All right. Okay. What I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna do this like this to keep an eye on everything. Like this. Keep an eye on this southern band because, as you know, the southern band is always something to look for. Keep my gloves on. I always forget, and I always get cold afterwards. Now it's actually not too cold, but when it's minus 20, minus 30, then you don't forget the gloves, or if you do, you lose fingers. Alright, let me take a look at the chat right now. There we are. Alright. Yeah, also had M9.46 class flare. Okay, yeah, I haven't paid attention today. I was quite busy all day, but yeah, the sun is still very active. There's some nice flare-producing regions on the Earth-facing disk right now, so it's a good recipe for solar flux, radio propagation, but also radio blackouts and all that comes with, unfortunately. So, can you guys recognize the substorm information right now? If you've been chasing the aurora or if you've been following my live streams, you should now be able to recognize how a substorm in growth, that means how the explosion in its formation, before it explodes, how it looks like in the sky. That always looks like this east to west. Right there is the southeast. So that band there on the horizon, on the southern horizon, is that potentially where the substorm expansion will start from. And then you have a series of also kind of east to west, sometimes they're a bit more north to south oriented, but you have a series of these usually a bit stronger aurora or curtains, and those correspond to magnetic layers in the tail that are either doing a reconnection, so we call them poleward boundary intensifications, lost the word for a minute, or if they're within the oval and kind of feel the pressure from the arriving magnetic flux from the daytime, then they can light up a little bit like this, and we call them other words. We call them streamers, omega torches, and lots of different things. But it depends on the sector that you're in, and it depends on the mesoscale structure that you see as well. But it's fascinating. It's always fascinating. But what you can recognize is that you have kind of like a separation between that southern band and these little guys here. And so that separation shows you that the substorm is still in formation, it's still in growth mode. Usually when you get the expansion about to begin, then these guys here, all of these, they tend to disappear to only let the southern band here glow and get brighter. That's usually how a typical substorm expansion starts. And you can usually start, so right now I'm shooting almost directly towards the south, and before the substorm expansion, typical substorm expansion starts, you will see this, so all of the sky will kind of get rid of any aurora, residual aurora, and the sky will literally darken. It's like the calm before the storm. And the southern band will start brightening up like crazy, and then you will start seeing some vertical structures in the southern band, and this is what we call the auroral beads. Sorry, I had some beers before. That's why my sometimes I'm searching for my words. I'm not drunk though, don't worry. But now, so the whole sky is filled with aurora, and that's just awesome. Yeah, I'm hoping this is better than a planetarium. You can see a lot of constellations with the aurora. You can see a lot of shooting stars, and well, I'm trying to point the camera where the aurora is best, and to show you what's really going on in the sky, so that you can understand how the aurora works. That's all I want, is for you guys to be able to anticipate the aurora for yourselves. I love teaching people. You know, I teach these aurora chasing webinars, and that includes a lot of what we're talking about tonight is in the last part of the webinar, kind of like the on-field section of the webinar. And I have one coming up in November, so I know I have a few spots left. Usually there are 15 people. It's 5 sessions of 4 hours, so that's a lot of knowledge, a lot of learning to do. But we do it every Saturday of November at 1 to 5 p.m. CET, so Paris time. And if you cannot attend, all the sessions are recorded, and you can so follow it self-paced. And I usually give like a pro bono little session at the end for those who did it self-paced, so that they can ask me all their questions and everything. But it's very comprehensive. It has everything from the sun to the solar wind to the magnetosphere and the aurora, and we see kind of all in one with all the tools that you need to use when you're an aurora chaser. What are the best tools? We decipher all the graphs. We explain how the aurora works. We really go over a lot of stuff. Hey James, yeah, we did have such a good show. Please watch the first live stream. It went absolutely nuts. About half of the video. It just went absolutely insane with fast moving aurora and everything. Hi Andy, thank you. I'm gonna put the link to my webinar if you want to book. Where is it? I need a secretary, really. Let's see. Go. Oops. Alright, so I'm going to put I put the link now in the description. So if you want to attend and book the webinar, and if you want to ask me questions about the webinar, you're welcome to do so by email. If you're not too sure about you attending or what we're learning about and everything. Oh, and Steffi is one of those who took the course. She's in the comment right now, comment section. She's a good friend from Germany, and yeah, she took the course, and hopefully that really enabled her to get better at aurora chasing. And I already know she's better. She's really good. She was already good to start with, but now I feel like she's gotten much more knowledge. Would I recommend something, a good place to stay for the first time in Norway? It's a tough question, because, well, if you're talking about, if you want to see aurora, then definitely the Tromsø area is the best choice, because although Tromsø city doesn't see much aurora because of the weather, the bad weather over the city, you can very easily book a guide or rent a car, and within a few hours, let's just say 2-3 hours, not even sometimes you're lucky with the weather, and within 30 minutes drive of the city you can find a good spot, but otherwise you'd have to drive a little bit further. But otherwise, yeah, this is the perfect spot, because you know, you can have direct flights to Tromsø, then you can find clear skies very easily, and yeah, it's such a beautiful spot for other activities as well, like reindeer. You have dog sledding, you have fjord visiting, you have a lot of museums. I mean, you have so many things. À cet S3 avec 14 mm 1.4 de Sigma. Pour la question. Yes, I've been to Iceland several times, and I can tell you, you either have to be super lucky in Iceland, or you need to be ready to drive about at least 5 hours every day to see the aurora, at least. And the thing with Iceland is that it's such a beautiful country, so you need to visit it for sure once, at least once in your life. But I would not recommend it firsthand to chase the aurora, because they have this extra layer. I know a lot of Icelanders will hate on me, but I can tell you, because I know I've been to Iceland, and I can compare with many places in the world, and I know what I'm talking about. Iceland, unfortunately, lies in the middle of the ocean, so they get a lot of storm passages that are very dangerous. We do too in Norway. That's not the point. What I mean to say is, they get an extra layer of weather which we don't have here, which is volcanism. And yes, believe it or not, volcanoes in Iceland produce water vapor. Yay! So that produces extra clouds, and these clouds can actually engulf you within 5 minutes. And it becomes very hard to monitor this type of layer on satellites. But I have to say, Iceland has one of the best meteorological website, which is verdur.is. Sorry if I'm pronouncing it incorrectly. But yeah, that's an awesome website that lets you see the cloud cover. But you really have to be ready to drive around Iceland. So I feel like Norway, northern Sweden, northern Finland, if you're in Europe, are much better places to go. If you're in North America, then definitely Canada and Fairbanks are closer, so that makes more sense, and you would find similar situations and type of weather in a way. Yeah, chasing in Iceland is really next level. Yes, Steffi. Yes, you know. But we have so many tourists and clients who went to Iceland first, or at some point of their lives, and they always tell us it's very rare actually that you meet someone going to Iceland and actually saw the aurora, or they saw something but between the clouds and it was like very faint, because unfortunately they could not find clear skies within a reasonable distance of driving. So it all depends. But here we have a lot of bad weather too. But because of the fjords and because of the mountains and because of the different climates, we're able to, on most nights, I would say 95% of the nights, we're able to actually beat the clouds and find at least some gaps in the sky to find the aurora. And every night, the guides here, you know, they either drive to the Finnish border or they drive to, you know, one specific fjord, and boom, they get like, you know, an opening like tonight. And I don't know if you see, but there are clouds all around, but here is clear, right? That's the mountain effect. So that's pretty awesome. That's something that they don't get, for example, in Sweden or in Finland, this kind of mountain effect. I mean, they get it in the mountains, but what I mean, mountains and sea, that's something that they don't get. So in this type of precise situation, where the mountains can sort of break up the clouds, yeah, this is, Norway is very unique. They have it in Alaska to some degree, but it's just not exactly the same because there's not the same wind influences and, you know, the Gulf Stream and everything. So, ooh, Aurora's looking pretty nice now actually still. James, well, some people get lucky. I mean, that's awesome if you do. I was lucky too to see the aurora in Iceland. That was in September, but I actually drove so much. I drove 6 hours every day because I needed to go from East Iceland to West Iceland to North Iceland to South Iceland. Oh wow, okay, wow, it's actually super bright here. Let me decrease the ISO. Aurora's getting nuts again. Whoa, that was bright. Let me just higher up the camera real quick. Wow. Okay, that is bright. Really nice right now. Wow. Okay, do you see this pillar here in the southern band? That might be the start of something, the start of an expansion. Although the expansion, if we get it, now is starting from this one for some reason. So let's see what happens. We might actually be getting something crazy. So, oh, sorry, I'm gonna start the recording and hope that something awesome comes from this. I mean, it's already awesome, but... So now I do apologize for a little while. I'll be behind the camera because I'm recording and I want to get this on camera. Wow, this is amazing. Wow, look how red it is. Do I see it with the naked eye? Yeah, I'm starting to see it now, actually. Barely, but I see it, yeah. Yeah, I think we might get a little breakup now. It starts dancing over there. Is it gonna be better or worse than the first expansion we got? Maybe it's not the expansion, that's why. We'll see. Right now it's doing something weird, but still very beautiful. But I'm actually going to stop the recording because it's not as nice as what I would have expected. But still very beautiful. And it could still happen. take a look at the setup of the aurora here and how it is over here as well. Oh wow, it goes actually quite far to the west with the red. It's actually super nice, but it's a much smoother expansion. If that's an expansion, that's a much more subtle expansion than the one that we just had prior. Perhaps because there's a bit less energy in the magnetotail, or perhaps it's because it hasn't had time. Oh, we're back? All right. That was weird. Oh well. Still thinking about it with some pillars there. Let's see if we get something. Still beautiful. Alright, do you see this? Okay, I'm gonna show you. So, do you guys see this? This little, sorry. So, I'm gonna show you this southern band and you're gonna see waves going like, and then, so here is the mountain, then the trough, and then here you see it's gonna go, here it's mountain again, and then trough like this, and then if we continue up a mountain again like here, and then a trough. We call these omega bands, and it's very typical of substorms closer to midnight or after the magnetic midnight sector. So it's very typical of that southern edge of the to display these omega bands like this. But that means the substorm is still in formation. It's still in growth, believe it or not. Because the omega bands are the direct result of the addition of pressure in the magnetotail and in the I guess the squishing of the plasma sheet. Adriana, Mestervik, yeah, I mean, any kind of small village, if even like houses sometimes have like outside lamps, and it's not the best to enjoy the aurora. So you will always have to look for a place without outside lamps, and try not to go into like big villages. Like Mestervik is not dark enough itself. So it's a good place to live, but then you will have to go outside of this small village to see the aurora. If that house is in the village, that is. If it's a little bit outside of the village, then that's a good place, because you can turn off the lights most of the time. Oscar for sound effect. I'm not getting it, Marina. Am I the one getting the Oscar? In the UK, you find that the pillars move from right to left. So this is actually very difficult to explain why these pillars move east-west, east-west, west-east. It has to do with a lot of different things, but it depends on usually what side of magnetic midnight you are. Usually it flows from west to east when you're after midnight, and from east to west if you're before midnight. Very often it does. Oh, thanks, Raccoon. Yes, I've been chasing it, for 10 years, and I've been, in the field of space weather, not as a scientist, but I have a foot in science, and I've been reading a lot of scientific papers, and I'm also helping scientists with some stuff. So, of course, I don't work directly with these things, but I do have, I guess, a deep understanding, not necessarily at the at the PhD level, but enough to get me by and to understand the main mechanisms of the aurora. Yes. Oh, there's a bit of a breeze right now, so that's normal. If it sounds windy, I do apologize. Missouri skies. Yeah, I'm shooting with a Sony A7S III. Yep. So if you want to know my setup, my whole setup, it's this Sony A7S III, and I have the Sigma 14mm f1.4 for Sony, which is such a good lens. Super sharp and very bright aperture that I can use to film the aurora. And of course the quality of the A7S III is really good. So, boom, you have it. Yeah, see, this was not the Substorm expansion. Told ya, it's still forming. As long as you have this defined band in the south, east-west like this, don't go home. Okay, that's always something that I teach my clients and the people who attend my webinars, is that this is the sign of a substorm in formation. So it's not always clear when we're gonna get the expansion and when we're gonna get the explosion, or if we're gonna get an explosion. Sometimes it does this, and then it does what we call a pseudo expansion, and then it actually doesn't really explode all that much. Wait, I'm gonna go in front of the camera real quick because there's a bit of wind.
Okay, Marina. Yeah, okay. Then I'm getting the Oscar. Sorry if I'm masking the Aurora just a little bit. I'm just in front of the camera to sort of shield the camera from the wind as much as I can. The Derbyshire wildlife guy, yes, I have. But please rewatch the first stream, and I'm explaining a little bit about the topic. And I'm explaining why, although the Glendale app is good for some tools, it's not as good as people pretend it to be. And you know, no app is the best. No app is good 100%. Ours is not, Andy's app is not, and I really want to put perspective into this because there are a bit too many superlatives that are being used in this field, and it annoys me because there are definitely some stuff in his app that are not true, and the problem is the public doesn't know this because it comes to a very deep level of science, and yeah. But I have to admit, I mean, I'm not against his app. I still think there's some really good tools that perhaps he was the first one to implement. That is true. But some other things that he claims is, you know, the best or the most accurate, but it's not. I'm sorry, but yeah, Quentin, yes. We're getting a bit more wind now. It's a bit of a touchy subject for me, and I try to avoid it as much as I can, but when people ask me directly, then yeah, I have to answer because I have to give my point of view because you know, I've tested a lot of tools and I've tested a lot of things for space weather, and the difference between and I'm not going to say names, but the difference between me and it is that I'm trying to stay objective. Of course, it's never 100% objective, but if a tool is good to use and adequate to use for aurora chasing in space weather, then of course I'm going to promote it. And I'm not saying the Glendale app is completely bad. No, it's actually amazing for some stuff, but it's not good for everything, and it's not certainly. I would hate to say the best, most accurate app on the market because it just depends what you're using. There are some notifications that are not accurate. For example, the interplanetary shockwave notification. Not all bumps in the solar wind are interplanetary shockwaves. So yeah, he puts a question mark, but then why put anything at all, right? And it's not the only thing in this app that is bothering me a little bit. So what I'm trying to say is the app is very good, but you know, I just want to put things into perspective for people. That yes, it's good, it's a resource that you can use, but there are other tools that are as good or sometimes a bit more accurate. There you go. Unfortunately, the best app doesn't exist. So. Alright, Dan, the local time and air temperature. Local time is 10 minutes to midnight, and temperature is about I don't know, something around 0 Celsius. Actually, not that cold. Yeah, I do apologize. I really don't want to do a rant on the Glendale app, especially because we have a lot of people watching from the UK, and I know a lot of UK people are using this app. But yeah, I hope I made my point clear earlier. Alright guys, so it looks like, alright, so actually it looks like what we might have had was actually a pseudo expansion. And the reason why I'm saying this is because we went from actually seeing the substorm information to nothing. And if you look now, I'm gonna pan the camera around like so, all around like this, is that all you have now is a kind of an undefined, very wide, very sort of you still have the band, but you see it's broken, right? You have this mountain here, this omega band, and it's pulsating a little bit, it's diffuse. You don't want this is not good, because you lose this east-west component, and that means the substorm, right now at least, is not in a like a good formation phase, in a way. So I don't think we're gonna get anything very soon, if you know, you were asking this question. So, and since there is a bit of wind, the wind is starting to pick up, and I'm starting to get tired actually. So I think it's a good time for me to say thank you guys for your support. Thank you for your attendance, of course, and thank you for your help also with the moderation. A few people with the time alarm, the time limit alarm thing. Yeah, Terry, that's very true. Absolutely. So, thank you for this live stream. It was, yeah, one of the best this seasons for sure. I'll be out as much as I can this season. We're already starting to have a lot more people during these live streams. Yeah, so now I have this confirmation. Look behind me. This little bulge here has extended a little bit towards me and is very diffuse. That's a sign that the southern band here is not very active anymore and not in a is not really prone to give us like a big expansion, at least anytime soon. So I think it's a good time for me to say thank you guys so much for this live stream. It's been a pleasure. And for the newcomers, please make sure to subscribe. And for the regulars, then I'll be online as soon as it gets clear and as soon as the aurora is good. So tonight was one of those nights, but hopefully we'll get something like this very soon as well. So thank you guys so much for tonight, and I'm wishing you well wherever you are on this beautiful planet, whether it's daytime or nighttime. I just wish you clear skies, and see you guys later. Take care. Bye bye.